Okay guys, exciting one today because today we're gonna be testing all of the new GT fairways and we're gonna be building on the success of our recent GT driver fitting that we did out in TPI. So we're hoping to see some of those gains moving down in the bag into the fairways. What we're gonna do, we've got Andy Inman. You guys know he's a favorite here on the channel. He's fit us before. We're gonna run through everything, shafts, all the combinations, and show you guys what's new in the brand new GT lineup. So Mike, I'll get fit first.
Yeah, you go first.
Then you, I know you're excited because you've been hitting that 3-wood.
Yep, yeah. Can't wait.
So we gotta take something good and see if we can make it better. We're gonna hit everything to get there. Let's go over there, let's meet Andy and get started. Andy, good to see you.
It's great to see you.
It is great to have you back.
Yeah.
We did that iron fitting about a year ago.
Yep.
Learned so much. And a lot of you asked in the comments how you can get fit by Andy. So stay tuned. I'm gonna have him explain how you can get fit, but I got a real opportunity here because 3-wood, I've been struggling with it a little bit. I've been struggling particularly with getting a little bit of height.
Okay.
My swing has changed quite a bit.
Okay.
Swing path has changed, and I recently addressed that in driver. We got a fitting,
Awesome.
a new GT. I'm hitting it higher. So you know how it's like with these fittings, it's time just to get in and readdress everything.
Right. Exactly.
So that's what I want to do. I want to answer some questions and I want to get a little more confidence back in the 3-wood. I want to take advantage of the new stuff they've got in the GT. I want to ask you about that. There's a lot to cover, but I'm excited to hit it.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
So where do we start?
I'd love for you to hit just 2 balls with your driver.
Okay.
Just to see what kind of ball speed we get, see what kind of results we have. And then we're looking at filling gaps, right? So we got a GT2, just putting some tags in here, 11 degrees, and we got a 1K black. Well, we may only need one more of those.
And this is why I went with the GT2.
Yeah.
I get a lot more forgiveness across the face.
Yeah.
So I was a little toey on that and still really got away with it.
So what would happen if you hit it a little on a toe? You would expect the spin to maybe be a little low.
Yeah.
Right? So it was a little bit low, but it's still, the eye test was beautiful.
Right.
Right. We'll take that all day.
That's what I'm saying. I like that. And I've always kind of favored the forgiveness across the face in all of my fittings because hey, I'm an 8 handicap. I strike it around the face,
Right.
It happens.
Okay, much better.
Yeah, that's how the ball that I like to play with this driver.
Where do we go from here?
What does that tell you for 3-wood? What, if anything, does that tell you?
So we have to talk.
What questions is that?
Yeah, now I pose some questions to you. So again, we're 50 degrees, it's cold out. 235 carry going 266. For the temperature for everything, does that sound like you do on the golf course? We're happy with that?
Absolutely.
So the next club for you, we said everybody's different. Do you need it to work off the ground and off the tee, or is it a tee-ball club?
So for me, right now, the 3-wood is predominantly a par 5, try to get there in 2 club.
All right, so I'm gonna build something, I'm gonna take a professional guess based on how the driver is built. We want those clubs to have a similar feel. It doesn't mean they have to be the exact same shaft, but we are gonna start in that family.
Okay.
So we're gonna start in a slightly heavier version of what's in your driver, and we'll let the evidence guide us to where it needs to go. But we have to start somewhere.
Perfect.
Okay. The 2 and the 3, as before, they are very generally speaking, the 2 is a little easier to hit off the ground, the 3 is a little easier to hit off the tee, but that's such a general statement. What I use the 2 models for is, if we get great contact on both, what are the ideal launch and spin numbers? Because the center of gravity is a little bit different, and they do come out differently for almost every player.
Okay.
But sometimes it goes opposite on what we describe them as. That's why you got to get fit. Right?
Yeah.
Until you hit them, you don't know what actually is going to work for that player.
Right.
But just on paper, I'm going to start with a 16.5 GT2 on a 75-gram version of your driver shaft instead of a 65. Good miss.
Yeah.
So one of the things right off the bat, 2 swings, they were in different spots.
Yeah.
Right. So they weren't the exact same swing for you, but the contact was generally good. One, the face was a little close and it went a little low left. That one went a little high right because it was open.
A little bit of an overcorrection
You
there.
overcorrected, right.
Right.
Guess what we're not going to go hunting for right now? Shaft.
Yeah.
It's familiar.
It's very good.
It's doing the job exactly what it should do. You just gave me on a 3-wood off the ground you just gave me a 150 smash and a 147 smash. So you created good ball speed from your given input very, very well. Now, there's still work to do. This isn't perfect yet. We'll go again. So let's just see. We have some good data there. If it's the right shaft,
Yeah.
if it'll work on any head, you'll make good contact. Doesn't mean the numbers will be perfect, but the contact will remain. So here's a GT3. Now, just like the drivers, the 3 has some weight adjustability as far as biasing it towards a certain ball flight. Since you draw the ball, we're going to try a 3 with some weight on the toe.
Okay.
Just to see, and we're also still flat. Let's see what happens. Let's see if it's better or worse. Now, you're going to have an opinion on the look.
Yeah.
They're very similar. If you don't put them side by side, some people don't see the difference. But this is where the player, it's got to look good to your eye. We talked a lot about this on the irons. When you put an iron behind the ball, it's got to look right?
Yeah.
It's got to have that initial, I like the way this looks. Because there's positive thoughts going, right? Positive thoughts lead to positive swings.
Initially, I like it because to me, this has a little bit closer look to my hybrid, which is such a confident club for me.
So
that
we're
I get
starting
with
a little confidence right now. Well, guess what? That potentially could lead to a more confident swing.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, that got way up.
Okay. So I'm seeing enough variety where we need to try a different length shaft. So we're going to experiment right now.
Yeah.
Let's go all the way down to a 42. Let's take a full inch off it and see what happens.
I like that.
All right. So we're going to go back to the 2.
Okay.
So in my kit, in that particular shaft, I'd have to go down to a 41.5-inch 7-wood. So I'm going to use a different shaft of the same brand. It's going to feel, it's the same weight, it's the same flex.
Yeah. Since I blew, I've got a long relationship with
You understand what this does. This is a 75 stiff in a 42.
Yep.
So let's try it.
Okay.
Now, if the club head speed drops dramatically, I mean, like 4 miles an hour, we need to go in between.
Okay.
Right? But if it's within a mile an hour, if it's within your variables, then obviously we're going to strike it better.
Right.
You strike a 7-iron easier than you strike a 5. There's the inch difference.
Yeah.
You strike a 9 easier than a 7. There's the inch difference. So what if I can get more consistent ball speed? Here. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. One swing. Now, we don't buy a club, for everybody out there, we don't buy a club on one swing, but we notice what the potential could do.
Yeah.
Your club head speed went down a little bit. Your ball speed didn't, right? Because you made better contact. It's that simple. Right?
Yeah.
So far, there's not a negative, but we got to hit a couple. So, I mean, the potential is just...
Yeah. If you could give me that all day,
that's right?
Great.
So highest ball speed yet, highest carry yet, spin. I mean, if we talked about ideal numbers, somewhere in that 32 to 3,500 range is kind of nice, and they're still got to pass the eye test.
Yeah.
We could see that ball didn't float at all.
Right.
So TrackMan's tracking it correctly. A 149 smash, 210, 232.
Yeah.
Kind of what we were looking for.
It's right where I want to be between that driver and that hybrid.
Okay. Let's do one last thing. There's always limitations in everybody's kit. Obviously, these are all my fairways, and I could still have more, right?
Yeah.
So we want you to hit it with the shaft that we're thinking about, because that's still a good option. Tensai blue is still a good option. Blues and blacks blend together, driver to fairway. Very nice for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to tell you what the limitation is here. I just want you to hit it.
Okay.
And see, this is where I need the player just to go, feels good, feels better, feels worse, right?
Okay.
So we like to talk about shafts in very simple terms from a player's perspective. Hey, is it too heavy, is it too light?
Gotcha.
Do you feel like you're working too much or not working enough?
Yeah.
Right, that's one metric. The other metric is, and I love this word, instead of saying, is it too stiff, is it too stout, does it feel boardy, does it do this? Hey, does it feel too wiggly?
Yeah.
This is not wiggly enough, right? Because it's not enough feel. If it's too wiggly, you don't know where the head is. If it's not wiggly enough, you can't feel the release. You don't feel it has any life in it.
Right.
So the wiggle factor's got to be right, and the weight factor has to be right. Simple terms that take away, this is a low torque, this has got this feel. Heck with that, right?
Layman's terms.
Feel.
Yeah, I like it.
Feel. We got the weight right.
Got to get that wiggle factor.
You know,
right
we
now.
got the metrics. We found a shorter shaft that's better. We found the right weight based off your driver.
Yep.
Makes sense. It's a shorter shaft than your driver. It shouldn't be the same weight most of the time. Not always, but most of the time. Fairway wood's a little heavier so that it actually feels the same. It's a shorter lever. Your irons, you're not playing a 65-gram iron shaft, are you? Because it's much shorter, it's got to feel similar.
Yeah.
So it needs to be heavier. Yeah, okay. So this is where the player tells me I don't tell the player. You hit both of those two shafts equally.
Yeah.
Which one do you like to feel up better?
I kind of like this.
Yeah. It is a different feel.
It is.
Yeah.
It's just, especially, I'm okay with it, that little bit less, what do we call it, the wiggle factor?
Yeah.
A little bit
little
less.
tighter,
It's a little
right?
tighter.
Isn't it a little tighter?
And I feel even more comfortable with that in this a little bit shorter.
Yep. Because you in your mind now can say, look, I got a 3-wood with a 5-wood shaft.
Yeah.
You can say, I'm playing a 5-wood with strong loft. You can describe it however you want, whatever makes this go positive.
Yep.
Because it is easier to hit. It is a positive.
No doubt.
Describe it however you want. What we want to do is create ball speed, create the right height, create the right spin.
And I'm loving the height we're getting off the ground.
Yes.
I mean, it's hard to beat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we got it. Now, we have to do one last thing with 2 or 3 balls.
Okay.
I want you to tee it up.
Got it.
So that's because I want to see if we get that. We noticed, and we said at the beginning, off the deck, we don't expect the 3-wood to go as that 75 feet.
Right.
You pushed a couple right that got there, gives
Yeah.
me an idea. But let's see what it does off a tee.
Got it.
Now, you see me changing shafts again because I want to go back to the length.
Okay.
We've picked the shaft based on the feel, but I don't have that in the 42.
Right. We want that length right. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So I want to confirm all the good stuff. It's the right weight. This is the right length. It's not quite as tight as the 1K black. It's okay.
Close enough. We know the
Oh,
difference.
yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. Really good.
Yep.
Really good. Yeah, there's the height I wanted to see.
Yeah, and that's the one
I just want to see if we got the height back up to 75 feet.
Yeah.
The potential. And it did draw, so we know a straight one will go even higher. Oh, by the way, 151 smash, 242. 60 feet in the air. So we're actually going to make one more tweak. So we're going to add a little loft.
Okay.
We're going to go a little higher. Because even that, at that level, it passed the eye test, it looked good, it's still kind of a little low. So we're going to keep the flat look to it. I haven't changed heads. We love this head. It's working fine.
So just a hosel adjustment
Just
is
a
what's
hosel
adding
adjustment.
that loft.
Correct.
Okay. Same head, same everything.
Same head. If I can see this go 10 feet higher, your carry's going to... I'm looking for basically... I think we got 220 carry out of this.
Looked like you got more height.
Yep. More height, more ball speed. 245, 214 carry. All right, we just got 5-6 free yards. So I made an adjustment.
So what was our final combo
Our
there?
final combo is a 42-inch, 1K black, 75 stiff.
Yep.
Coming from a 65 stiff in the driver. 16.5 GT2. A little flat, a little more loft.
Yeah. So we had to take advantage of what we got from the new GT head.
Yeah.
We got to dial in the shaft of where I'm at with my game right now.
Yep.
And I feel like it's a much better match to my driver. So that's awesome. But
Exactly.
I'm excited to see what Mike gets fit into because he's a different player. Let's get you in there.
All right, evidence. Let's see some evidence of what a driver does.
Okay.
Okay, it's a little quick from the top, but what does that tell me in one swing about that shaft? Got to the middle of the face.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little closed. Okay. 150 smash, you created 164.7 miles an hour ball speed from 110. It's as good as it gets.
Sure.
Right, sign me up. 290.
Okay.
Now we got to hit it straight.
I just got it straight.
There we go.
That's the shot I dream of at night. I dream of that shot at night, right?
This brings me back to a driver fitting we did a little while ago. We had a lot of fun with it. Okay. So we love what you guys did, right? That was a little higher.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe a couple feet higher, so it spun a little bit, got a tiny bit high in the face. Oh, it wasn't high in the face. Cool. That's why we check. Why do we like GT? Because you can miss it by a little bit and get that kind of reaction.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
So at your length, you can play some courses that you can't hit driver on every par 4.
Right.
Right? Because 300 yards can run into some...
Absolutely.
In the Northeast, we get some 350, 380, even 400-yard holes where 300-yard drive is not useful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Especially they know where to put hazards.
Yeah, they sure do. Bunkers are in the right spots. You don't necessarily want to back off on a driver and try to pooch one out there.
Yeah,
right?
no.
That's not
I
easy
don't like
to do.
changing my swing.
Yeah.
Right.
So at least 50% of the time, this 3-wood's got to work off the tee.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense. I would say I'm a 50-50 guy with the 3-wood.
Okay.
Off the deck and the
Fair enough.
Yep.
So let's do this a little differently. Let's start off the tee.
Love it.
Okay. So we're going to start with this exact shaft at a 43-inch.
Okay.
You get a lot of loft, so I'm not going to start with a 16.5. I'm going to start with a 15.
Okay.
We may adjust to go. I'm just finding a starting point.
Absolutely.
Right. All right. We'll start right at A1. We're going to go off a little tee. However you would tee it up. Do you. Okay. So first swing. No surprise that you made great contact.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's slower.
Yep.
Because it's 2.5 inches short, or 2 inches shorter. So the club head speed's down a little bit.
Sure, of course.
But it's still a 150 smash. You still carried that 253.
Yeah. I like that. This is going to be, yeah.
By the way, with the same miss that you had with the driver. Your same miss was exactly the same.
Yeah. Right.
Right? You hit that exact shot with your driver. This just went 20 yards less.
Right.
Well, that's kind of what I want. Right? In this application, in the 50% of how you're going to use it, this needs to be a driver that just doesn't go as far.
That's it. Yeah.
I don't need to think about it any other way. Yeah, you look down at it, it's smaller. It's a shorter shaft, so you're closer to it. Ball position's a little different, but not much. Don't think, just pick the club for the target, right?
Yeah.
Everything about those numbers that you produced there, other than the fact that you pulled it left, was perfect.
There we go.
Oh.
I mean, all day long with that baby draw.
Now, sometimes the fitter's first guess is right from experience, and we got lucky, right? The only way we can prove that that's perfect is to now find some things that aren't as good as that.
Gotcha.
Because that's,
yeah, I mean, that's,
you hit it a little bit off the toe.
Yep, I
so
did.
we didn't get all of the ball
I
speed.
felt that.
Right, I heard it, you felt it.
Yeah, felt it right away.
But 242 going 255 with a little miss. And it's not a bad miss, 145. For a fairway wood, it's not perfect.
Yeah.
Still looking at birdie on a short par 4. We're still going to try the 3.
Okay.
But let's, with this head for a second, let's make sure this is the right shaft.
Okay.
So in a graphite design world, it's very similar to an IZ or a DI. Let's try the IZ first.
There's a new shaft I've never seen or used.
So this is Graphite Designs, you know, sort of their take on that smooth feel.
Yeah.
Super smooth. Now, it doesn't mean it's not stiff. It doesn't mean it's not controlled. This is an IZ8X. It's a little heavier.
And what is the point of this to see what? What do you want to see different?
See if you like the feel better.
Okay.
Right? Because it's heavier. It's, again,
so it's a feel
I'm
thing.
only using my experience in that a lot of players, period, forget good. We typically will go a little heavier in the first fairway wood shaft than the driver because it's 2 to 2.5 inches shorter. And to get those two clubs to feel the same, that's what you do.
Yep.
So I want to make sure we're not missing anything with this.
Okay.
We're going to try 2 in the 80s just to make sure because we've already said it. That was perfect.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's as good as I can hit that one.
Yeah. So forget the numbers.
Yeah.
This is where where TrackMan's great because the head's doing, we're getting to the back of the ball. So the head's doing its job. I know the numbers are probably pretty good on that. Let's see if I'm right. A little spinny, but not bad.
Yep.
Not bad. Not the draw you're used to. Right. Just in 2 swings. Does that feel better or worse?
Worse.
Yeah. Done. It's out.
I can tell you right away.
It's
and nothing to do with that. I just felt
it's
it.
that simple.
Yeah.
Right? Because you made decent contact. The ball where, you know, on both swings, the data says, okay, that's passable.
Yeah.
But that's why this is only part of the equation. It has to be a conversation. It has to be a collaboration between you and I.
Yeah.
Right?
No
It
doubt.
can't just be, this is what you should play. No.
Right.
No, we gotta work together to find what your feels were. Okay.
There's a shaft I'm familiar with.
Let's go back. Let's go back to the Mitsubishi family.
Okay.
I have found over the years that once somebody is in sort of that family of that old Diamante blue, Diamante white, now Tensai blue, Tensai white, Tensai 1K black, if they like that, kind of hard to go away from it because it's got its thing.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people like it. It doesn't mean it's right, but to get that same thing heavier, got to go to. I don't have the option in the blue. So here's a 1K black, distinctly heavier.
85.
Yeah, so it's an 85 series in an X. It's like 88 grams. So
Okay.
this is 8 or 9, 10 grams heavier in your
Interesting.
driver, which is where we would typically start.
Okay.
Doesn't mean it's right.
Right.
But we got to try it. So when we change weights like this, can't say always, but a lot of the times, something changes,
Yeah.
right?
What do you see change there? Anything?
I'm not going to say yet. I want you to
Okay.
hit one more.
Okay.
Okay. Now I'm going to tell you what I see.
Yeah.
Quality of contact went away. If you remember back to our times together with irons a couple of generations ago and woods a couple of generations ago, what do we talk about when we talk about shaft? It's the connection, right?
Right.
It's the transmission that gets the information to the back of the ball with speed and accuracy.
Sure.
We just made it worse. So that shaft is too heavy.
Yeah.
Right? Because the quality of contact went away. Now, if I had gone too light, what would happen? Most of the time, quality of contact doesn't go away, direction goes away.
Direction, because it's whippy.
Remember with the irons, like we went a little too light, all over the place. A little too heavy, chunk thin, chunk thin. Well, you just went chunk thin on me.
Exactly.
It's too heavy. Now, I don't need to explain it. I don't need to figure out why you versus somebody else needs to play the exact same shaft in your driver in 3-wood. I just need to observe it.
Right.
It's clearly the best shaft for you.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So with the right one in mind now, let's compare GT2 to GT3. We already have some data on the board.
Right.
So on paper, we would generally say the 3, for a lot of people, is a little easier off the tee. The 2 is a little easier off the ground. But it's more has to do with center of gravity, and the 2 does launch a little higher. Everything's... So we're just looking for the ideal launch and spin.
Got it.
Okay? Something about it's different.
Something about it is different, yeah.
Right? So far, it's not as good.
Right.
Right?
And now, I'm struggling to know if it's me or the club right
Okay.
now. Yeah, that's what I'm...
So that's where it's, again, there's the discussion.
Yeah.
It's not just fact that club is worse. What if the subtle difference in appearance between these two, somewhere in the back of your mind, gives you a little more confidence here and you make a better swing? We got to realize that is a distinct possibility.
Yeah, sure.
Because we're all sensitive, whether we think we are or not, we're all sensitive to appearance and look and feel. Whatever gives us those feelings to put our best swing on the ball, we want to gravitate towards.
Yeah.
Don't shy away from that. It's important. Okay. Right?
Yeah.
You just hit that one really good.
Yeah.
Right? Would you agree?
Absolutely.
That came
Take
off
that all
a
day.
beautiful window.
Right.
It spun significantly more than this.
Yeah.
I don't need to explain it. It still had your little draw. It had a 2-yard draw, and it was a 1-4-8 smash. Everything's great. If we stayed there, I'd have to lower the loft to get everything down a little bit.
Right.
Well, I don't have to do that. I had the numbers here.
had the numbers
we already
there.
said we loved it right here.
Yeah, we did.
All right.
Okay.
So 3's out.
3 is out.
Right. And that's okay.
And that's okay. I have the 3 in the driver. Doesn't mean
matter.
I need the 3 in the...
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Makes no difference.
I love it.
It is what works for you. Now, let's confirm it though.
Right. So I can see how most people will walk into a golf store and say, I play the GT3, I'm just going to go to the
Right.
shelf, take the GT3.
And you could, and I'm not saying you wouldn't get lucky and be perfect. Absolutely could be.
Right.
But why not take a few minutes?
Sure.
Come see me or one of my buddies,
Yeah.
and we'll make sure for you.
Case in point right here.
There you go.
Yeah, all day long. Felt so good.
Right? So ball speed, everything about the contact,
Yeah.
which is shaft, instantly got back no matter what head I put
Yeah.
in. Contact came back with that shaft.
Yeah, it sure did.
I'm not changing that shaft.
Okay.
So our height down to 110 feet.
There's the
It's
110.
Perfect. And because of that, everything's good. Now, it's a little spinny. So it's a tiny bit spinny. I'd like to see that a little bit lower. So now we can tweak. Let's experiment first with a 13.5. You're going to love it off the tee. Don't always guarantee things, but I'm pretty sure you're going to love this off the tee. It's a little bigger.
Okay.
So the only downside to this would be, can you hit it off the ground? So we're going to try tee first.
Okay.
If it's just brilliant, then we'll hit it off the ground. If it's no better, then we'll go back to the one we know will hit it off the ground really well. Okay, card off the toe.
That was toey. Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Getting toey with it, but I'm getting away with it.
So obviously we're loving that.
Yeah.
Wasn't your best strike
Nope.
speed-wise, but now the spin is perfect.
Yeah.
Right, mid-threes, 238 plus, 257 plus.
Yeah.
Sign me up all day long.
All day.
So that's a little better. Mm-hmm. Let's see if you can hit that off the ground.
Okay.
Now, remember we talked about height. Mm-hmm. We talked about your 9-iron height, your driver height. You're a high ball hitter, okay? We don't expect a 3-wood off the ground to be that high, but it can't be 40 feet either.
Right.
Right? It's got to be moderate for you. So just throwing a number out there, if you can't hit this 75 feet in the air, you got to go back to the 15.
Okay.
Just
It's good to know.
let's let the eye test really
Yeah.
tell it. Ooh.
Lower flight.
Yeah, but
But
pretty good. So, again,
So-
confirming shaft. 237 going 262.
yeah, I like that. Wow.
So it's 60 feet in the air. Okay.
okay.
But it drew.
Yeah, true.
Straight one will go a little higher.
Okay. No, not that one.
But like a 5-iron compared to a 6-iron, 3-wood's not the easiest club to hit off the ground, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
we still have to factor that in. Okay. So just not a face.
Yeah.
Not a face to look at.
Right.
It's almost like you're trying to hit a driver off the deck.
Exactly,
Right?
yeah.
So yes, it fits half of what we wanted to do.
Sure.
But the other half is too much of a fail.
Mm.
So this is where we say, okay, we've got two purposes for this club. Since one setup is brilliant, it's a 10 out of 10 off of one, but it's like a 3 out of 10 off the other.
Yeah.
So it's a 13 out of 20.
Yeah. I know.
Right? Let's bump it up. What if I have to lose that 1/10 on the tee?
Sure.
Because it spins maybe a hair too much. Okay, but it's close. But it's easier to hit off the ground. Well, that's a win.
Yeah, it's a win.
Right? That's where this club is difficult to fit, right? It's trying to ask it to do two different things.
That's true.
Kind of fun.
Yeah.
Right? All right, so there's one more quiver, right? So we're at A1. 13.5 was good off the tee, lousy off the ground.
Yep.
Let's bring this down a little bit.
Okay.
Let's go to 14.25. So that's our D1 setting. And we're going to go back to the same weight we started with because you hit it consistently the best that way.
So I got to ask, before I
Yeah.
hit this ball, how can anyone else get fit by you?
Okay.
Because
So,
it's incredible.
I've got a great team nationwide. You can go right on Titleist.com. Up in the section, you see clubs, accessories, and fitting.
Yeah.
You can type in your area, and you can see who the local guys are.
Easy enough.
Right, easy. I'm in Westchester County, Long Island, and Connecticut.
Yeah.
Sometimes a little further out than that. Sometimes I travel a little bit, but you'll see me south of Hartford every single Tuesday. I'm there every Tuesday.
Perfect.
And you can come see me. That'd be great. I'd love to see you.
There you
Love
go.
to see you. But we've got a great team all across the country that, all different personalities. We're all doing the same thing. We're following the evidence of what the ball tells us needs to happen. And we like to have fun doing it. So hopefully when you come to see us, you have a good time. We've been doing this a few years together, and it's always a pleasure to see you guys.
There's
So,
no doubt, Andy.
we love
It's fun. Absolutely. All right, let's get a good one out there.
Yep. Okay. So close,
So close.
right? Just a little bit of an open face.
Yep, little open face.
But there's the feels we're talking about, right?
Uh-huh.
So there's the ball speed we're talking about,
yeah, there it is.
right? Let's go back. So we know it can do what we needed to do off the ground, where the 13.5 just couldn't do that.
Yep.
Couldn't get anywhere near that kind of confidence and height. Let's make sure we're still good off the tee.
Okay.
There it is.
There it is.
There it is. There you go. Okay. That's when we go smile, right?
Yeah. Andy, thanks as always, my man. Guys, go get fit. You will learn so much, just like we did.
Love to see you.
Eye-opening. Thanks.
Absolutely.